All right, so today is a very special episode. This woman right here is my mama. So we're going to talk a lot about, I got some questions here. There's an audience here. So we have all of her sons in the audience, new daughter, we got a bunch of people in the audience. We're having all kinds of fun here. And we have some questions that Chris and Keon supplied that my mom doesn't know. So this is going to be a little bit of a different departure from the normal episode. And my mother also didn't know that we were coming on. So first question for you, Mom. And this is one from earlier today. What is your name? What do people call you? Because you have a lot of names. Keon asked me earlier, he's like, what's your name? And I was like, I know a couple of them, but I want you to kind of try and go down the list. If you remember all of them, you got a lot of names.
I was born in 1953. My mother spoke Spanish. When she would go to the hospital and have a child, they wanted people from other countries to assimilate. So what they would do is they would try to put the name at the hospital in an English version. My mother, till she passed, called me what she named me, which is Maria Altagracia, which means Mary High Grace, High. So what they did is the hospital put my name as Mary Grace, period. So they kind of did the English version as part of the assimilation. And my mother wasn't going to tell them anything. She was not like that. So she was shy and foreign, so...
I want to go through some of the nicknames. Thank you for that, by the way. I didn't know that, so thank you. This is why I'm excited to do this. That's a big one. But let's go through some of the more names, because you got a lot of names.
I've had people call me Mary Grace.
Yep.
I've had people call me
Mary
Grace, or just plain Mary, or Gracie.
Graciela.
Chela.
I didn't know about Chela either.
Yeah, Chela.
What'd you get a Chela? How'd you get?
Chela is.
Do I want to know that story?
Nickname for the Graciela. Chela.
Oh, okay.
Graciela,
What else? Let's go down the rest of the names. Come on, I know there's more.
Let's see. Grace the Ace.
Okay.
From outer space.
What did my Aunt Debbie used to call you, or Madrina Debbie? Wasn't she have one for you?
Masa. When I was a little girl, they called me Masa because I look like a pile of dough. They said I look like a little chunky thing, so they would call me Masa, which in Spanish means dough, like bread dough. And that's what they called me, Masa.
What else? You got more?
I can't think of it.
Let me give you another one.
Okay,
what about when people used to call you Sister Mary or Sister Mary Grace and people thought you were a nun? What about that one?
Yeah, I like that one.
Why'd they call you that? That's a good one.
Because they thought that the name Mary Grace would be a nun.
No, when you worked at Covenant House, because you were it was in the building that had, so
I worked for Covenant House, Michigan. And that is a Catholic organization. It began in New York, but it's everywhere. Guatemala, Mexico. It's like in the other states, in Florida too. So they would call me, because there were nuns that were working there. Well, people end up calling me Sister Mary Grace. I wasn't a nun, but they would say Sister Mary Grace. And the students, too.
Yeah.
They thought I was a nun because the other ladies were nuns.
And so didn't the real nuns, weren't they kind of a little bit upset about this because you're getting called Sister Mary Grace? I remember this.
It wasn't something that I wanted or I started.
I remember them thinking wait, why are they calling? And I remember showing up and going there and they're talking to her like she's a nun. And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, Mom, what is going on? You are not a nun.
I know. I did want to be a nun, however. My mother wanted all of the 10 daughters to be nuns. We were in Catholic school and we were raised through Catholic school. And I thought we were all going to be nuns because we all wore shirts on our hair, my dad's shirts. So we were like pantomiming the nuns because he bought these chairs from a school and he got some chalkboards, big ones, and he put them in the basement so that we could play school or do stuff. So we were always flying around with my dad's shirts on us, so we were walking around like the nuns.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, I think I don't know why they call me Sister Mary Grace. They just thought, I guess, all the women there were nuns.
So
there were several.
So what should Keon call you other than Mom? She doesn't know either. See? Enough said. Next question.
Mary
Let's go
Grace.
on.
Grace. Call
She
me
doesn't
Grace.
know it. There we go. Okay. All right. The Heffa. Okay, we got another one from Chris. All right.
Okay.
All right, let's get into some of these questions here. Okay, so I like this one. I think this is Chris's handwriting. So he asks the question, when did you realize your mom was so cool? So I'll share part of this story, and I'm curious to hear your opinion on this mom. So I tell Chris, and I tell all my friends, I'm like, my mom was the cool one always. Like when I was young or otherwise, much more people would rather hang out with you than me, and that's okay because you are the fun one. And when the kids would come over or something, and I was younger, I'd be like, great, I have my piece. They can go hang out with you, whatever. So, and even to this day, I just finished a podcast, like a call. I did this call with about 8 to 10 people on there. And I'm like, I'm telling them that I'm coming to visit you. And I'm telling them about it, this, that. And I was like, oh, yeah, some of my friends came too. I'm like, Keon came and, Chris and friends came and whatever. And they're like, and I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, wow, we're kind of like some 16-year-olds. I'm like, wait a minute, these are grown-ups. They're really busy. Chris doesn't go anywhere. Keon doesn't go anywhere, but they just not got in a car for 2.5 hours each way to come visit you. And I'm like blown away because they wouldn't do that for me. I promise you, if they were 2.5 hours outside of LA, they would not take that trip to go see me if they're not flying in.
I am honored.
And that's the truth. Like, did you always know that you were this cool?
I didn't. I know that sometimes you have to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're listening to what someone is saying to you and you're giving them that eye contact and stuff, after a while, I work with high school students that were 16 to 22 years of age. And after a while, they know who's fake. Mm. Young adults and young teens, they know who's fake and who's not. So if they were someone that would not want to talk or something, I'd say, come on, let's take a walk. I'll take you to Mickey D's, my treat. They go, really? I go, yeah, come on. So
for the younger audience, Mickey D's is McDonald's. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mickey D's. So I just used and invented different ways to get their attention or to have them know who I am and that I would try to help and try to do my best. And usually after other people see how people trust you, they might be on the sidelines, but after a while they kind of look and they want to be with you too. Mm. They want to feel what their friends are feeling, and that's the same thing with adults. I go somewhere and there's rarely some place that I go that I don't know someone or someone comes to me out of the blue and I don't care where I'm at. And it's just people get to know you. They want to hang out with you. Mm-hmm. I've been invited to many places to do many things. There's not enough time in the day. I do want to do a few things. I want to join a reading club. But other than that, I just think that people naturally have an intuition that they feel after a while. Yeah. And you make them laugh or you dog them or whatever, just mess with their minds or something or say something funny or a joke or something, Before you know it, they're laughing, you're laughing, and before you know it, they like you and you like them. Yeah,
and you talk to strangers.
Oh,
like
yeah,
being
all
in
the
an
time.
elevator with my mom that's sometimes you don't know where that's going, but the only person I know that talks to more strangers in the elevator might be Chris, depending on the day. He's got a name or something. If they look like they're a client, he's talking to them. I like your pin. I like your necklace. But you'll engage with people. Talk to me about that. Did you always do that, first of all? Like always. When you were young?
No, not when I was young. When I was young, I would say I was a little shy. Mm. But as I got into high school, then things started changing, because people, everybody's got like a clique. Either you're in it or you're not. Mm. So I wanted to belong. I wanted to participate. So, of course, I got involved with the not so studious clique. I kind of got involved with the clique that wanted to have fun and graduate and do things, but they wanted to have fun, too, and I did, too. Mm. So that's how it starts. I talk to people. Oh, Alejandro could tell you that he says, how can you talk to that person? You don't even know that person. I said, well, I don't know him because I haven't talked to him. I know him now. All the time, anywhere we go.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't even know. You're not going to know someone unless you talk to them. So there's a lot of people. Sometimes that intuition I was talking about, sometimes you can have that feeling that something is wrong with an individual or something. And I don't want to try to psychoanalyze anyone, anything like that. I don't try to do nothing like that. What it is, I just want to give of myself. And if they accept, then we start talking. And if they do not accept, then we're done. I say, hello, you have a great day, whatever, and something positive to say at the end. Have a great day. But sometimes people will start telling me stuff, and I'm like, I can't get away. Just like the phone call I just had. I said, oh, no. I will not be able to be with my son all day. So I'd rather be with you, and that's what I didn't take that call. But that's basically what it is, that I am very accepting of people, and I believe that there's a lot more good people in this world.
This one's from Keon. What's your favorite story of Adam when he was a child?
Oh, gosh. There are so many. But there's one. And I'm
scared right now for a moment. Just so everybody knows, I'm like this. I'm like, which one is this?
Don't be scared.
I'm not.
I've got nothing negative. What surprised me is he wouldn't eat butter. He wouldn't eat mayonnaise. He wouldn't eat...
It's true. Still don't like mayonnaise. Ugh.
I know, but that surprised me because I slather mayonnaise on just about everything. I love it. But he didn't like it, and that's all there was to it. And that was at a very young age where I thought that he should be eating mayonnaise or butter or something. No, he wasn't having it. Another one, real quick one, is Halloween. Halloween, he would go out, he'd go trick-or-treating, get a ton of candy in a pillowcase. Bring the candy home. We'd go through it. We'd check the candy. Everything looked cool to me. So we put it all back inside. And I said, where do you want it? So we had this, it was a twin bed, but it had like two drawers that didn't have the lid, but they weren't really drawers. But he would put his candy there.
It was my stash.
Right. But he didn't eat the candy. I ate the candy. I swear by next Halloween, we still had candy. Because it wasn't the ones I like. I didn't like Tootsie Roll, and I didn't like certain other things. So that's why. But that was something, and he was young. He was a kid. What 6, 7-year-old was going to kill themselves eating candy? He didn't. He didn't like cake. Birthday cake. Cake. Come on, Adam, please have a piece of cake. I don't want no cake, Mom. He didn't like cake. Who doesn't like cake? So that's when he was younger in those days, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What'd you do as soon as you got out? This is one of my favorite family stories. Right after you got me out of the hospital, brand new newborn baby. Where's the best place to take a newborn baby, Mom? Where'd you take me?
He had a fit because I did, but I said, you have to drop me off right here at the park, Clark Park, because it was...
You took me to a party at a park.
At a park. I took him brand new to introduce him to about 50 people that were barbecuing. They got to see Adam. I thought that was splendid, instead of, just people having to come by.
That was like Simba, like you were the Lion King over
here. He is. Dun, da, 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 da. And I had Adam.
That's...
Everyone just about couldn't believe it. Adam? I said, yep, that's him, Adam.
Right out of the hospital.
Right
Come on.
out of the hospital.
Thank
His
you.
dad had a fit. Oh, my God. He says, germs, people, this, that. I says, outdoors, adjustment. Get used to the cold. Get used to the summer. You got to get used to everything. He's got to get used to germs. He can't be in a bubble.
Dang.
You can't live in a bubble.
Like that. All right, let's see. So we got another one, and I think this is Keon's handwriting as well. What was the biggest influence that helped make you who you are today?
That's so easy. Mr. Ritecki.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yes.
Little guardian angel right here.
Yes, he's passed on. And I remember that when I started going to the schools and I was doing runaway services, because a lot of kids would run away from home and stuff. So we had a specialty program for those runaway students. And I was in charge. So I would go to the schools and I would try to do the prevention stuff where you don't want them to end up in the street, to end up something bad happening to them. So we kind of like reach out to the schools, and if they feel like it, they know I give them business cards. I let them know all about what we do at the Casa Maria. Let's not go there where I used to leave you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we can get into some of those. That time you left me at Kmart in the toy aisle. Should we bring that one up when you were brand new, and you forgot that I was there because you weren't used to having a kid yet? How about that? Oh, no, go ahead. Child abuse is over. I'm old enough, Mom.
Okay,
it's fine. They don't do that nowadays.
I would never do it this day, ever.
That time you forgot me in the toy aisle? Go ahead. Okay. Back to Mr. Ritecki.
Okay, Mr. Ritecki. Mr. Ritecki would be laughing right now.
He would be dying. He is laughing. He's laughing up there at us right now. Are you kidding me? Yes, he is.
Yeah. So he's the one that he says, okay, he was Polish, very Polish. His family is Polish. They spoke Polish. They ate Polish. It was awesome. So I got to meet him. Now, he was working with kids that were what they call pee-wees or getting ready to be gang members, so they hadn't been whatever. So he was working with those boys. But he wanted me to work with the girls. So we started a group program, and it was called Las Hispanas, the Hispanian women.
Hispanic women.
Hispanic, yeah. But Las Hispanas is female, not Los Hispanos. That's... Okay, so I had a group that it ended up being like close to 15, but it started with maybe 3. The other one would tell the other one, come on, it's fun, come on, she's nice. And so little by little, the group started growing and growing. And no one had speakers come into the schools in that year or in those times. People from the outdoors did not come into the schools at all. Well, I ended up in the Catholic schools, in the public schools, in the charter schools, any school that was available and allowed me to go because of Mr. Ritecki. He knew counselors from all the schools.
He was an advocate for sure,
He was
wasn't
an
he?
advocate.
Yeah, he understood.
Absolutely. All the way advocate.
And that was when you used this word, and I think this is when I understood what the word meant, is he was one of your original mentors, right?
Exactly.
That gave you that confidence and that
Exactly. The confidence. That was everything. And go back to school. That was everything. I ended up going back to get my master's. He kind of opened doors for me, or he feel like I can do it. He gave me more responsibilities, which you need in order to grow is more and more responsibilities. So I was growing. And I remember he asked me one time, he says, Mary Grace, will you go with me to a psychologist? I think it was like a seminar or something. So I says, heck no, I'm not going to go where there's a bunch of psychologists. Are you nuts? Or psychiatrists and stuff? I said, heck no. He says, well, you're not going to do nothing. You're just going to go with me and keep me company. I said, no, I know you. You have a plan. He says, okay. He says, this is what we're going to do. His plan was he was going to talk about the educational aspect and different theories and different ways to get what it is that you're looking for. He was awesome. He was way beyond his time. So way before his time, I'm sorry. And anyway, he says, I'll give you a certain amount of whatever I get. I said, okay.
Dang, he was like Chris on the speaker fee over here. What's going on?
So I went. I was so petrified.
Really?
Oh, yeah. All these people were in like suits.
Yeah.
Okay? Like suits and dressed up with bringing their briefcases in and stuff and sitting down and standing up and talking to each other. And I'm like this. Like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And I'm telling Ritecki, I'm not saying nothing. You better leave me alone. He says, the only thing I'm going to ask you is one question. I says, okay, one question, that's it. So he says, I'd like to introduce you to a coworker of mine. And he introduced me and he told what I did, how I started Las Hispanas and how I started the Runaway Youth Center and how I did a lot of things in the community, a lot of stuff. So he says, I'm going to ask you one question. I said, okay. He says, and these guys are all sitting there quietly listening. He says, "Can you tell me about your life as a Hispanic female?" And I said to myself, "That's a long-ass question." So anyway, I just started talking about my mom and dad and Mexico and the United States and going to school and my dad working 2 couple jobs, my mom raising children, and the faith that she taught us, the hope for the future, always have that hope. The faith is just inbred in me. There's got to be something better and something good is coming, even if the disaster happens. You got to think about that. You got to think about there's going to be something, okay? People die. We know that, okay? It's not nice. We don't like it, but they do. But we know there's something else is coming, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren. And it was at that time that I was able to speak. And now I don't have a problem with microphones anymore or talking to people.
Think we can tell.
I get people pretty comfortable when I'm speaking at a lot of the places that I used to go to, like the mothers. We have the parent meetings and stuff. Boy, I'd get up there and I'd be going to town and very comfortable with the microphone. I'm pretty comfortable now.
Well, Mom, I think we're out of time for this episode, but I think this is going to be a monthly call. I think that was born here, Chris. I'm going to be calling you in Florida, bringing you on this show. We're going to be recording because I got a bunch of stories I want out of you, and I was just thinking about them. Like, I want to hear about for the next time. I want to ask you about Grandma, Grandpa, what it was like to be with. I'm giving some teasers. This is called Teasing the Crowd here. I'm going to be talking about that. I got some more childhood stories that I'm like, wait a minute, leaving me at Kmart, that was just one. We got some other childhood one. That was funny, though. We don't want to talk about what used to happen on half days. You forgot me again. Okay, on that note, no. Thank you, Mama. Yes, you always got me before.
Taken care of.
Yes, this is true. Okay, thank you, Mama, for coming on the show. I'm going to be bringing you back on.